Nihilism. Nihilism is the belief that life has no inherent meaning, value, or purpose. It challenges the idea that there are universal truths or moral laws written into the fabric of reality. From a nihilist point of view, ideas like good and evil or right and wrong aren't fixed. They're human inventions. It's a worldview that can feel bleak, but at its heart, it's about tearing down illusions and questioning whether the things we take for granted, morality, religion, progress, really have any ultimate foundation. Existentialism. Existentialism starts with the fact that the world doesn't come pre-packaged with meaning. Instead, it says meaning is something we each have to create for ourselves. It emphasizes freedom, choice, and responsibility. You decide what your life will be, but you also carry the weight of those decisions. Existentialism doesn't hide from tough realities like death, anxiety, or loneliness. It faces them head-on. Its big takeaway is that life becomes authentic and fulfilling only when you stop looking for ready-made answers and start shaping your own purpose. Empiricism. Empiricism is the idea that knowledge comes from experience. It argues that the human mind starts out like a blank slate, and everything we know comes from observing the world through our senses. Seeing, hearing, touching, experimenting. These are the sources of truth. Empiricism is deeply tied to science since it emphasizes observation and evidence over abstract reasoning or speculation. Relativism. Relativism challenges the idea of universal truths. It argues that what's considered true or moral depends on context, culture, society, or individual perspective. In one culture, a practice might be seen as virtuous, while in another it's condemned, and relativism says there's no single, absolute standpoint to judge between them. Instead, all truth and morality are relative to the framework you're standing in. Rationalism. Rationalism says that knowledge isn't built just from experience, but from reason itself. It argues that certain truths exist independently of what our senses tell us, and we can reach them through logic, deduction, and intellectual reflection. For rationalists, things like mathematics, moral principles, or the laws of logic point to truths that are self-evident or accessible by thought alone regardless of experience. Materialism. Materialism flips the script. It claims that physical matter is the foundation of everything. According to this view, the universe is made of material stuff, and all phenomena, including thought, emotion, and consciousness, can ultimately be explained in terms of matter and physical processes. There's no need for supernatural forces or immaterial souls. Everything, from galaxies to human behavior, emerges from the same underlying physical laws. Stoicism. Stoicism is a philosophy about control, knowing what's within it and what isn't. It teaches that peace of mind comes from focusing only on your own thoughts, actions, and character, and letting go of the rest. Other people's opinions, external events, even death. At its core, Stoicism says virtue is the highest good, and practicing wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline is the way to live a good life. It's practical, almost like mental training, a guide for staying calm and steady no matter what life throws your way. Idealism. Idealism is the belief that reality is fundamentally shaped by the mind. Instead of the physical world being the ultimate foundation, idealism says that consciousness, ideas, or thought come first. The things we see, touch, and measure are either products of the mind or can't be separated from it. In other words, the external world isn't as solid and independent as it seems. It's filtered, constructed, or even created by the structures of thought itself. Utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is all about outcomes. The right action, it says, is the one that brings the greatest happiness to the greatest number of people. It measures morality in terms of pleasure and pain, well-being and suffering. Instead of focusing on rules or traditions, utilitarianism asks, what effect will this decision have? Will it help more people than it harms? It's a simple, results-driven way of thinking about ethics, and it pushes us to look beyond ourselves and think about the collective good. Absurdism. Absurdism says there's a clash between two things: our deep need to find meaning in life and the universe's complete indifference to that need. That tension, the search for answers in a silent world, is what's called the absurd. But absurdism doesn't tell you to give up. Instead, it suggests embracing the absurd fully, accepting that life may never give you clear answers, and living with passion anyway. The image of endlessly pushing a boulder uphill, knowing it will roll back down, sums it up. The struggle may be pointless, but you can still choose to live it joyfully.